No, I've been around, you know, multiple figure earners, six, seven figure earners, and very successful individuals and leaders. And most of the time, they're chilling. We are going to play top golf or bowling or play Mario Kart, and I'm sitting right next to him. Like, we're having a good time. I think a lot of the mistakes that individuals make, and people, whether you're Christian, Jewish, or you're Muslim, or you're Buddhist, or you're Hindu, is just because you grew up in the religion doesn't mean that you actually are of that religion. And what I mean by that is you are responsible as an individual to do your own search. Don't just accept whatever your family tells you.
Right. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, man.
Right. Thanks so much for being here. So let's take it back a little bit. Where did your whole journey with self-improvement, with the life course going to where you are now, where did it all start?
For sure, man. And first of all, I just want to say, Bradley, thank you very much for inviting me onto your podcast. It's actually the first time that I'm doing a podcast. I know that I've had some offers before from different people, but I just want to say thank you, appreciate it. And yeah, my story, it's not too long. I don't want to bore everyone who's watching this as well with the boring bits, but yeah, personal development is really something that I came across about 2 to 3 years ago. By the way, my name is Rehan. I'm 20 from London, and my story really began in university. In fact, it got started when I was born. Or when it comes to personal development, I really got started with that in university. It's actually an amazing story how I got connected with the people I'm connected with now. But yeah, it really started with an individual. It was actually a friend's friend who approached me in university, and it was amazing how we all started rushing down from our university accommodation, and we started just rushing. I don't know why we were running, but we were running down. I don't know why. I thought there was a fire behind me. I was looking behind me. I was like, "Is there a fire?" But as we came down, it was actually someone that pulled up in a brand new Mercedes Benz, and everyone was just surprised and didn't know what was going on. But that was the first time I got introduced to an actual entrepreneur. I got to see an entrepreneur in real life, and I have attended, events before, but really close contact, being able to, ask someone, questions about how he got started. That was really the first time. And yeah, we had conversations. We had a lot of good conversations and different topics that we spoke about. But the one thing that I really remember that that really stuck with me is how he said that everyone here, because I was with a group of friends, um, that everyone here is hearing, but you are the only one, Rehan, that's really listening. And yeah, that took me, by surprise. And also I was like, hey, look, it just showed me that I wasn't crazy. I was actually on the right track, but really what I needed was the right environment. So through him, he actually recommended for me to look into an individual called Bob Proctor. This was 2 years ago when he was actually still alive, and I started studying, his materials, and I really loved it because for me, I was really at a stage in my life where, I had a lot of internal challenges, and studying Bob Proctor really made it clear for me. If you study Bob Proctor, you know about him, how he talks about how thoughts lead to feelings, leads to actions and results. That really put things, the puzzle pieces in place for me. And from there, yeah, I just got connected with some, very successful leaders and individuals in the industry that I'm in now with travel and trade. And yeah, it's been an amazing journey so far.
Man, that's the key part of you that shined through that wasn't available to the other people at that point. When you met that first entrepreneur, when he pulled up in his Mercedes and he said, "Ray, you're the only one who's actually listening," because that's a huge thing. Because so many people hear, like you're talking to them, they're like, "Yeah, I hear you," but they're not actually listening. It's going through one ear and it's going out the other. But what seems as to what happened when he was speaking to you is he could tell that you were being very attentive. You were actually taking in the information he was putting down. So he saw something in you.
Yeah, I mean, really what it was is I was just very hungry. That's what it was. And not in a food wise, I'm fasting today, I'm hungry, but I'm talking about different hungry. And you can't really explain it because you just need to have it. It's one of those things, like, you can't teach someone how to drive a car. They just need to, the only way they can learn how to drive a car is by actually driving it and making the mistakes. So I was just very hungry. And, you know, for me as an individual, I went through the whole education system. I'm still in the education system. I'm still good to uni. And that's for, my own personal reasons. But what I really realized is that the education system is not working. And it didn't take me 20 to 30 years for me to be 40 and have, a family and a child, and be in, I don't know, the six figures in debt instead of a six-figure income, to really understand that it's not working. I understood it at a very young age, and I had to go looking for a solution. And the solution for me was, hey, look, I need to find a way to become free. So for me, my paradigm was so receptive that any ideas that would come to me, that would show me, that would help me find a way to become free, I was open to. And that's what I believe. If you do study and you believe in the law of attraction, I think that's how it happened. I was open and receptive, and I was hungry, and that's how I believe I started attracting those people. Yeah.
That's right. That's literally how everything starts, as you know. Like, you have to be open-minded, because I think so many of us are just, we have a lack of that. And for the longest time, I wasn't open-minded too. If someone would mention this or tell me this, and I'm like, nah, don't worry, I'll forget about that. I don't need to work on that problem. It'll just sit in the back of my mind, because that's what we do. We let it sit in the back of our mind. But then what we don't realize is, when we don't deal with it, we don't solve it, it grows and grows and grows. And then you get to that place of, ultimately, I think it's what we could call misery. But yeah, I mean, dude, and I think that's something that so many of us realize, that the education system isn't working for us. We're not really learning any real information that applies to our lives, to our relationships, whether it's making money, meeting new people, whatever it is. And so I think you either go down two routes. It's either you realize that you need to learn other things on your own, or you don't. And then one day you either realize down the line, when you're 40 and you already have a family, or you don't realize at all. And, for people like you and like me, and for hopefully people watching, it's a very blessed place to be, to have realized that we have to look up to other places and to other people to learn the valuable information, so that we can elevate our lives.
100%. And it's actually amazing, because in a way we feel chosen to be on the path. But on the other hand, you also realize that it's not as easy as going to work a 9 to 5. So like, being on the journey, first of all, like, if anyone is watching this, and either you're in a point of your life where you want to become free, but you don't have a way to become free, or you don't know where to go next, then that's step number one. You're already on the path, you're already on the trajectory to become successful, because being successful, it's not a circumstance, or it's not a result. It's a direction. It's a trajectory. And if you really think about it, look, I live like 15 to 20 minutes from Heathrow Airport, one of the biggest airports in the UK. And actually, if I look outside my window right now, I'll be able to spot, planes coming in, landing from already such a distance. I can already see them coming down. And if you think about it, like an airport, planes come from different directions of the world. But most of the time, when let's say a plane is leaving from the US, I was actually in the US, the whole of last month as well, spending some time with some leaders, and I was in Chicago, actually landing in Chicago. But let's say, there's a plane that leaves from Chicago to London, then most of the time the plane is off course. Most of the time, if the plane stays in the same position where it takes off, it'll end up in Antarctica. I don't know where it will go. But that just goes to show that most of the time an airplane needs to readjust their trajectory to get to the path of success, or to be on the path of success. So most of the time you won't know what you're doing. And for me, that's why I realized, hey, look, I need to have the hunger, and I already had the hunger, but I didn't have all the other things that come with it. Because, you know, if you really think about success, success is like baking a cake. So if you don't have the recipe, then it's going to become very difficult to bake cake, because you'll start adding different ingredients together. You start adding too much flour, too much water. The cake doesn't taste nice. So I really had to look at my journey when I realized, hey, look, I'm hungry and I want to become free. I need to look for a guide. I need to look for a recipe, e.g., a mentor. You know, and I remember I had a very good friend back then. You know, his name was Amar, and we would sit down after after secondary, after our lessons in high school in the US, secondary here in the UK, and we'd really just sit down and plan, and I would just repeat over and over again, look, we need to find a mentor, we need to find a mentor, we need to find a mentor, because I understood at that age that, hey, look, if I want to become successful, then I want to be able to save some time, save some energy, save some money. So if I have a mentor that's able to show me where to go left and right to avoid the pitfalls of business, because business, there's just principles towards it. You know, it doesn't matter what business model you do. I know a lot of young teenagers, you know, like myself and yourself as well, Brad, are into e-commerce, into drop shipping, into Amazon FBA, into affiliate marketing, into whatever new business models come out nowadays. But I actually ventured into a lot of this. Ask me, like any venture, I've done it. I've done it. And at this point, it's not really, I don't really give individual advice. I can, but I understand that with any of those business models, there are certain principles that apply to any of those business models. So if you learn and you understand those principles, then it doesn't matter what business you get in, you'll become successful. For example, right now I have a cosmetics company that I'm launching, and I'm able to take the skills that I have and learned from my mentors in the one business, and I'm able to go into the second business, apply the same principles, and become successful. So those are really, you know, the two things, and there are more as well that I really had to understand and be like, hey, I need to look for these things, and also having the hunger. Because, for example, so you know, a skill that I was working on for the last couple of months is discipline. And I didn't tell myself, hey, look, I'm not disciplined, I'm not going to become successful. No, because every time I failed and the discipline went away, the desire remained. And that's not something you can easily take away from someone that's hungry. The desire remains. So every time you fail, you have the desire to try again. And that's really what stuck with me. And I believe, you know, helped me get to where I am. But that's something I'm working on at the moment. You know, I'm working on an ingredient, you know, to become successful, discipline. And that's really what you have to understand. And I'm just very grateful to be surrounded, you know, by the people, because I believe I wouldn't be able to get where I am right now without my mentors. So yeah, mentorship and environment is something I can definitely advise you to use as well to look for.
Yeah, the discipline aspect, it's like you just said, like just because you might fall off the path a little bit, or you take a wrong turn, or you become a little bit lazy for a little while, the hunger doesn't go away. So you just have you have to take that as a like an indicator of like, I can't just, even though I'm a little bit lazy right now, I have to get back on the path eventually, or hopefully sooner than later, because if not, I feel as though like it's going to be a regret thing if you don't start it back up, if you don't hop back on the track, because that hunger inside of you, like you said, it's very hard to take away. It's going to stay with you. So you can have the hunger, but not have the discipline. And then the hunger is just going to eat you up inside. But then I feel as though if you use the discipline to then elevate the hunger and then elevate yourself up and up and more, and then you're going to keep going to higher places, meeting better people, better relationships, more money, whatever it is that you want or that success is to you, that's where you'll get if you hop back on the track.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, it's something that you have to master. Because, you know, if you get on the path of becoming disciplined, a lot of things will come in the way, you know, and mainly emotions as well. Because when we try to become disciplined, this happens, that takes us off track. And yeah, it's massive to understand how impactful discipline can be. Because, for example, look, I have a coin right here, And what helped me really understand discipline is the compound effect. Because let's be honest, to really start seeing results, in a period of time, in terms of being able to, for example, in my business, I work a lot with people, and it's a lot of a numbers game. And business really is a numbers game. But when we talk about seeing results and seeing numbers, it doesn't take years, and it shouldn't take years, especially with, the way that we have everything laid out nowadays online. Everything can be speed up very fast, and it's the cost to start a business really is zero, because with all the tools that we have online, there's no excuse. So really what it is now is you have all the tools that you need. You don't have to have massive amounts of capital to start a traditional business, because you just start an online business for $1,000, right? So really what the thing is that I would recommend, a lot of younger individuals work on, especially at the age of 18, 19, 20 plus, is work on the discipline. Because when you have a coin and you start doubling that coin in 90 days, and do the maths, you'll see the numbers. In the first 10 days, you won't see any significant amount of income or results or numbers. But then in the last 10 days, the 20 to the 30 days, that's when you'll see the compound effect coming into play. So it's all about momentum, and it's all about making a decision as well, making a decision to say, hey, look, if you're watching this and you have a business, where you can go all out for 30 days, 30 to 60 to 90 days, then make that decision. Say, hey, look, I'm going to set aside, and we actually have something coming up in our business as well called the Growathon. And the Growathon is actually a 30-day blitz where we go all out, because you don't want to go all out all the time. If you think about it, nature, I have my little bonsai here behind me, and the trees in the background as well. Look, the seasons. There is seasons in nature. And one thing that really helped me understand business more is looking back at nature. That's something that my mentor actually recommended for me to start studying, because nature, I think most of what's happening nowadays is people have made new norms that are, contradictory to nature. And for us to go back and become one with ourselves and our intent is to go look back into nature. So if we look back at nature, nature has seasons, right? There is 4 different seasons, and things happen in those seasons that fluctuate. For example, you can expect more, harvest in summer, and during the summer and the spring season is when you go up and go all out, so you can store food for the winter. So in the same way, in business, you have ups and you have downs, and learning how to make, the most of those situations is understanding what you need to do within those seasons, how to make the most of the highs and what to do in the lows. So that's really, one thing that that's really helped me understood business as well. Yeah, that's really what it is with the compound effect. It's like, how can I go all out for one season of the month, 1 month, 30 days, can go all out and go full action, because seeds grow over time. When you plant the seed is not when you go and reap the reward. And business really is about planting seeds. The more seeds you plant, the more harvest you will have over time. So imagine, right, you have 1 month where you go all out in business for 30 days. Then in the next 1 to 3 months, you can expect those results to start compounding over time, and for you to gain momentum.
I love what you said about all of that, and especially the seasons aspect, and how nature and those seasons can relate to so many things in life. Because, where I'm from, and I'm sure where you are from too, wintertime is cold. It's cold. There's no more leaves on the branches. Everything looks kind of dull. You walk outside, you're like, oh, it's chilly, right? And I feel as though, for me personally, and I think for so many people, wintertime is that really difficult time. And if you have the discipline, it can really help you get through it. Because what has happened to me when I fall off the discipline track, or before I was disciplined at all, is, summer you might be having fun, maybe you're getting some stuff done, and then once wintertime comes along, you get a little bit lazy, you get a little bit depressed, and if you have that discipline, you can so much more easily get yourself out of that rut when it's cold out. And, let's say a part of your discipline or a part of your routine is going for a run. You can still get yourself to go outside and run, even if it's snowing a little bit, even if there's a little bit rain, even if it's 30 degrees outside. The discipline will get you through that difficult time, because winter time it's difficult. It's starting to become spring right now. It's getting a little bit warmer outside. You feel a little bit happier, and you're like, yeah, like things are going up, right? But wintertime is tough, man. It's tough. What's your experience like with winter?
I mean, winter times are probably that's probably the best time of year.
Yeah.
Because this is it. It's like you said, it's starting to become spring. It's starting to become warmer. Soon it's gonna be summer, and that's where people are gonna lose a layer of their clothes and start going outside and enjoying themselves. And that's really the period where you have to be careful, because you don't want to let yourself go, and you also want to think about how can I make the most of this situation, because energy is going to be much higher than winter, right? So when it comes to winter, you really want to think about, and this is what I really had to think about as well when I was on my journey to become more financially free, is if I want to make the most of my time and want to become financially free, then I have to observe the masses and do the opposite. I have to observe the masses and do the opposite. So what do people do in the summer? They go out, and they go party and they go have fun. What should I be doing is I should find a way to make the most of that situation, make the most of that period of time where people's energies are high, and grow my business. And then the winter time is for you to really get down and learn those hard skills, like what people think hard, and really what is hard, right? It's all about perspective. But success isn't difficult. Success is different. It's just a different perspective that you need to apply and start learning. But wintertime, when it comes to wintertime, that's the best place to really lay the foundation for yourself, because this is what I was told by my mentors. If you're angry, if you're sad, if you're happy, within all those different fluctuations and seasons of emotions, learn how to sell. Because if you can sell at your lowest during the winter time, and by the way, winter is not just a season, it can also be a period in your life, right? When you can sell during your winter periods in your life, then you can sell when it's summer, sell when it's spring, sell when it's autumn, sell when you're having family issues, when people are passing away, for example, in your family, or you're having relationship issues, or you're having financial difficulties. So really what I learned as well, because I don't have the book right here with me, but one book that I really started studying as well is The Power of Awareness, right? And in The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard, it actually said, in I think maybe the first or second chapter, and that's really something I think about most of the time, is that most people live from the outside inside, right? So most people will live from the outside inside, meaning that they are swayed and controlled by their circumstances. Meaning whatever happens around them, the like right now, with the economy, the depression and the recessions or whatever they are called, right? And things that happen around you. For example, with the weather as well, it's a rainy day, so you don't decide to go out or go to the gym, or you decide to feel down. Most people live like that. However, there's actually 1 in a million individuals that live from the inside outside, meaning that they control their inside and they control how they see the outside. So whatever they believe inside actually starts controlling what happens outside. Because when you take control of yourself and can take control of what happens inside you, you can really build your own reality outside. Because it's not about what's happening outside. It's not about creating something new. It's about changing your perspective of what's happening outside you. And that's something massive, because if you really think about it, we are humans. We are, God's highest form of intelligence. but we really don't have that much power. We have the power to manifest, but besides that, what really power do we have? We can only change our perception of reality, because reality will still be there. Reality will still exist. Why? Because imagine you change your sense of reality, or you change reality to what you want it to be, then it wouldn't be the same reality for someone else, what they want to be. So reality really is objective, and to you subjective, and you can really decide to make it what you want to make. For example, let's say you have a situation where you lost your job. To most people, they would go crazy. They would be like, I lost my job. What do I do now? What's gonna happen? And people look for another job, because that's all they know. However, another way that you can really look at that is, look, I lost my job. This is God telling me that I need to go and look for another way to become financially free, or to earn money, and that's really what it may be. It may be, if you're religious, or the universe or God telling you, hey, look, this is your chance. I'm giving you the breakthrough now, because you had a job before, so you weren't really looking for anything. Now, because you don't have a job, you're looking now for other ways, to become free. So really, that's what it is, and that's the main thing that I really had to change and experience and change in myself is perspective. And it's funny because you don't really have evidence to back up that perspective of how you see it. It's just what you really have to think about is having faith, and also thinking about what your goal is. Because if you don't have a clear goal and vision attached to what you want, then it won't make sense for you. For example, one thing that we teach our individuals, people that join our business for the first time, is, hey, look, get out a piece of paper, get out a pen, a piece of paper, and write down 100 reasons why this business or earning income in this business can help you become financially free, can help you, earn residual income, can help you earn passive income. Because what it is we don't lose our goals. We just forget about our goals. So when you have, 100 reasons why you are going to quit, then you need to have 101 reasons why you want to continue. And that's really what it is, because most people, they quit or they stop because they don't have enough reasons why it can help them. So laying that foundation, that why is very strong, and it's needed as well. Because when you have building a business, and I'm actually not on my own home right now, but I have this little statue of the Burj Khalifa. If you really think about it, how that building was built is insane. The foundation that they built for that skyscraper, which is the highest, tallest building in the world, is a very unique foundation. And why is it a unique foundation? Because it's the tallest building in the world. So if you want to be able to reach the highest of highs, and I know I have a big vision as well. I have a very big vision of making change in the world, and the education system, and building schools. I understand really how much resistance I have to go through to achieve that goal successfully, and a lot. I'm telling you, we're not even gonna go into that. But what I understand is I need to build such a foundation that is enormously strong, and also unique. So how do I build that? By building my why, building your why, and building that foundation. Because a lot of entrepreneurs, they'll go through the journey, and they will find that their mission will remain the same, but their method will change. Meaning that if your mission is, for example, to end world hunger, then the mission will remain the same, but you might have to go through different methods, different businesses to achieve that goal. So that's one thing that's really helped me in staying open-minded and being receptive to also having other ways of earning income, and having multiple streams of income, and multiple ways for me to build a foundation, and stay strong for success.
Change your thoughts, change your life. I don't know who that quote is from, but that goes so much along with what all in all what you were just talking about, which is so powerful. Because we don't realize how much power we have with our perception, because like any of us know, when you deal with one negative thing in your day and then you start to look at everything else in reality as negative, and this negative thing's happening to me now, and this person's treating me bad, they said this about me. But then if you have that one positive experience, you then notice, oh, this person's being nice to me today, and oh, I attracted this, and oh, I feel good about going to the gym today. So your perception quite literally changes your reality. That's why you see people who have differences in opinions. One has a positive one, one's in a negative one. They are quite literally living in different worlds.
Mm-hmm. They really are. They really are. And this is the crazy thing. Like, you might have more good going on in your life than someone else, but you are being negative and the other individual is being positive. So the person is being positive, although they might have more negativity going on in their life and less good positive things going on in their life, they still focus on the positive. And you might have a lot of good things happening in your life and a small amount of negative things, but you choose to focus on the negative. And the funny thing is, what we focus on, what we spend our time, energy, and money on, will multiply. That's so amazing about us human individuals, about us human beings. Or we focus on growth. So if you keep focusing on the negativity, then automatically, because it's a frequency, that if you have a frequency, you get access to the frequency above and below. So if you focus on the negativity, you also tap into all the other things that are negative. It starts spreading, right? It really starts spreading. Like, I don't know. I don't really know what to describe it by. I think about that one scene in Harry Potter. I'm not sure if I can relate to it, as they're not British like me. But really, it's really like seeds, if you think about it, right? Let's say you have an apple. Every apple has a multitude of seeds, and from those seeds, if you plant those seeds, you're gonna have more apples and more apples and more apples.
Right. So you focus on the positive, there's going to be more positive things. Focus on the negative, there's going to be more negative things. So yeah, really, really, that's one breaking point that I had as well. Like, I had to become positive. I had to become positive, because that's really what I believe I have the desire that I have now, because I was at a point where I had no option to become positive. Because if I remain negative, like I said, I'll be in a lot of misery. I wouldn't be what I am right now, and I would have to stay positive to stay alive, really. Because at one point, you really have to think and reflect and be like, hey, look, is there really more out of this life than what I'm experiencing now? Is there really more good in this life than all the negativity I'm experiencing now? And that's when I really realized I was in a prison. Because imagine being in prison but not even knowing that you're in prison. Like, imagine being in a prison, you don't even know. You don't even know that you're being in prison. That's the real matrix, right? That's being in prison to the top, because you don't even know that you're in a jail. And the first thing is being able to span out and really understand, hey, look, am I being in prison? And the only time you know that you're being in prison is when you look out the window. If you yourself decide to pick out some blocks from your prison cell, or you choose to look for a window and you see what's outside, when you see what's outside, then you won't really look anymore for what you have now inside. You start looking for what's outside, and that's when I realized, hey, look, I was speaking through, and I was like, hey, look, actually, I was right. There is more out there in the world than what I'm seeing right now, and that's why I'm a really big ambassador of traveling. I love traveling. If you look on my Instagram, I have a lot of travel content, and from a young age, I have been traveling. My mom, like, literally the first time I traveled, I was one. I went to Turkey, and my mom, she's a real traveler as well, and a lot of gratitude and praise towards her, because I've traveled so much, and traveling has really allowed me to broaden my horizon, to really understand what is out there. And recently I went to the US, and one thing, for example, is this. Before I went to the US, everyone around me telling me, oh yeah, watch out, the people are racist, this, that, all the negative things, right? And I even went to Texas, and before I went to Texas, I was like, okay, I need to be careful. But I went to America, and actually, in the meantime, we had some individuals in our business environment that were American as well, and I noticed how friendly they were, and that was redefined by when I went there and experienced all these individuals that were so, friendly towards me, and it's crazy because America, the US, was really the last place on my mind I would ever travel to, ever. Like, I'm gonna go to Dubai, I'm gonna go explore the whole East, but I have no reason to go to the US. And then I got connected with people from the US. That's how I got connected, with you as well. I know probably, as much people in the US than I know here in the UK as well, which is crazy. And I would love to go to America again because of that experience that I've had with people, because I stayed open minded. And the funny thing is, when I stayed open minded and I had good experiences with people from the US, then what do you think will happen when I go there? What do you think will happen
Exactly.
when I go there? It will be I don't know what the word is, but I'll have more good experiences. That belief will be strengthened because of the paradigm that I had, the belief that I had. So that's really it. And what you really have to understand is you just have to jumpstart the car once. Just jumpstart the car once and let the car run, right? Because when you jumpstart, because it takes a lot of energy at first to jumpstart the car. You need that jumpstart in your life. You need that wake up call, because once you have that wake up call, it's not going to take as much energy to keep it going. With a car, once it's jump started, the car, when you drive the car, it'll be charged by itself. The battery. The more you drive the car, the battery. I've had a lot of times, and this is how you can tell I've had experiences in my life. We had a lot of time where we had to replace the battery and kickstart the car. So I remember, my mom and I, we would, we'd get the new battery, we'd ask someone to kickstart our car, and then my mom says, I'm gonna drive now for 30 minutes. Why? Because I'm gonna drive for 30 minutes, and the battery is gonna charge itself. And then you come back and you turn off the car. And every time you go, you already have it charged. You just need to continue driving. So that's one big thing as well that I realized. And I was like, hey, look, I just need that one time to kickstart the car, whether it is myself, or someone else. Because imagine you're the one, you're the individual, you're the problem. Right? You brought yourself into the situation. So I mean, you can try to pull yourself out of the situation, but it's going to be easy for someone looking from the outside inside to say, okay, hey, look, I see what's going on with you, I'll pull you out. And when the person pulls you out, you're like, wow, I really didn't think about it like that. So it's massive. A lot of individuals, especially if you look on Instagram and social media nowadays, a lot of youngest things, they need to become a lone wolf. The biggest lie that's said on online and about entrepreneurship is it's lonely at the top. No, it's not lonely at the top. There's just less people, but there's still company. It's not as crowded as the top, at the top than it's at the bottom, but it's really important to build that environment, and it might not be as easy to look for individuals that are successful, but I mean, I'm talking to you right now, Bradley. And Bradley, as well, you've seen some of the people in my environment, and you've seen how many people there are. I mean, you can even look into the group chat that you're in as well. How many people are there? So there is an environment, and there are successful people, but it comes back again to your belief and your paradigm. Because if you start changing up that belief, and you start saying, hey, look, actually, I understand and I recognize there are not as many successful people around me compared to everyone else that's going to work a 9 to 5 or whatever, then okay, look, I just need to start looking more, or I need to increase my numbers of reach outs that I do to people on Instagram. That's one thing that I really recommend anyone doing. Whether they are in any business model, is do you reach out, connect with people, expand your network online, and start building a community of like-minded people. Start building an environment of like-minded people, because that's really what's going to help you. Because I truly believe that we are all energy beings. As an individual, we are all energy beings, and when we pull together and we bring those energies together, and that's one thing I actually read from this book. This is probably the second success or self-help book that I started reading, Think and Grow Rich. is one of maybe the key concepts in this book is when it talks about creating your own mastermind group, creating your own safe environment, creating an environment for you and some other individuals where you can come together, and create a mastermind. For example, we have this thing in our environment called a war room, and in this war room, we come together and we might take an hour of our day to just jump on a Zoom call and say, hey, look, let's knock out some voice notes. Let's knock out some reach outs. Let's do this together because it's very fun when you that I mean that's the main thing. It's fun when you do together because success is not this serious this road where you have to watch out for everything that you do and you have to be serious all the time. No, I've been around, you know, multiple figure earners, six, seven figure earners and very successful individuals and leaders. And most of the time, they're chilling. We are going to play top golf or bowling or play Mario Kart, and I'm sitting right next to him. Like we're having a good time. So it's really understanding as well that, hey, look, success is fun, but you have to change the paradigm to be able to say, hey, look, if there's 30 days where I need to focus, there's 30 days where I need to focus. And then after that, I can do whatever I want as well. So that's what makes it fun. I mean, imagine you going to the cinema by yourself comparing to going to the cinema with your friends. It's 10 times more fun. So that's one thing, and especially for us youngers, we love having fun and make success fun. That's the main thing. Make it fun because it's about the journey. It's not about the we've heard that before. It's not. It's about the journey. It's not about the And I have to be like, wait, what do you mean? Because I would love $2 million at the end of the journey. But what you have to understand is the reason why they say that is because the journey is not always straightforward. It's gonna be rocky. There's gonna be obstacles, and to just make it through that journey, just much better to just go through and not end up with trauma, right? Because the number one people that have therapists are millionaires, bro. I'll tell you that right now. Because we have so many things going on in our life, we are the main people that have therapists. We need them the most. But make it fun. Have people around you to make that journey fun, and have stories, man. It's the main stories because stories sell, facts tell, really. So I mean that's the main thing that I can share for sure.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of great stuff you just shared. And yeah, I mean, yeah, because there's a difference between, that millionaire who's able to have fun and still able to go bowling and still able to play something like Mario Kart and enjoy it. And then those are the ones that have those great experiences and enjoy life, essentially. And then there's those millionaires who, yeah, they have a ton of money, but like they're sitting at their desk every day. They're like, oh my God.
By themselves.
And there's so many millionaires that kill themselves too because they chose that path of, I'm gonna do it all by myself, and then they get to the top. They have no more friends because they I guess the misconception that they put online nowadays with the self-improvement and earning more money aspect is you have to do it by yourself. Get rid of all your friends. You can't have a girlfriend, all this and that. So then, like, once you get to the top, and yeah, you have money, but you don't have any relationships or anyone in your life anymore. So it's like, it's not worth it.
You have to make sacrifices. I think it's important to make sacrifices. So there's gonna be a grinding period in your life where you're gonna have to maybe put those things aside and really focus. Because that's what I really learned when I was in the US. But I had no other distractions because I wasn't at home. I had no other distractions than to focus on my work. But those periods is when you really build that foundation. So you might have to go away. I've had to go through the same things as well with my family. I've had a lot of resistance from my family, and bless my family, I love them, but I had to step back from them because of where I was going. I had to go back and build my belief, build my strength, build my mental fortitude, and build that foundation. And then I was able to come back because now I'm able to handle all those things much better. I'm able to handle all the amazing. Look, I'm a big foodie, so don't put food in front of me. I love food, so even I had to make sacrifices with the thing that I like the most, food, and with games or with dopamine and or watching TVs and movies, which is a big thing. We can touch on that as well. But you have to, for a period of time, you have to make the sacrifices. Then you've built the foundation because really it's for your own good. Then you can come back and you can do whatever you want to do. I mean, I've seen, I can't say it, but look, trust me, like we have fun. Millionaires are not just always like coming sitting down like, how do we make money? What do we do? It's also about having fun, but it's really knowing, and this is one thing of growing up as an adult as well, is being able to read the situation, and know when it's time to do what. You're not gonna laugh, make jokes at a funeral, right? And
Right.
at the same time, you're not gonna be sad at a party. So it's really understanding when you need to do what, when you need to make the sacrifices, but keeping the open mindset of I'm having fun, and being able to have fun and do work at the same time. That's the main thing. That's what I'm actually learning to adapt at the moment as well. Like when I'm doing the work, I need to be able to have fun as well. And when I'm having fun, I need to be able to restrict and control myself as well.
Yeah, I love all that. And in terms of, you know, being able to do that, being able to work and like for example, me doing the podcast, like this, like when I have to edit and spend hours editing and stuff, it's work, but when I'm having the conversation, like I love it. And so when I watch it back and maybe you said something that for some reason in our conversation I missed when I went over my head for some reason. Maybe I lost attention for a second. When I go back and edit and I'm watching it and I'm marking everything and changing things up and I'm like, oh, he said that. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Write that down. All right, I'll keep that in the back of my mind because I learn so much from talking to people as well. It's not just, of course, it's for the audience because having all these different guests on and all these different perspectives, it's incredible to help everyone out, and it also helps me too, which I absolutely love. So yeah, I mean, like you said, being able to have fun with things that you're working on, um, I think that's such an important aspect because you don't want to work so much with and spend so much time doing something but be completely miserable doing it. And yeah, finding that happy medium is great. In terms of your religion, how has that all played into business and personal development?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question, and something that I really hold close to myself. I'm a Muslim as well. I was born a Muslim, and I've really had to. For me, my belief, although I was really brought up as a Muslim, I love reading. I've always loved gaining knowledge, and I remember we would always, because I used to live in the Netherlands actually. I'm not British. I moved here around 6 years ago, but my background really is Dutch and South American. So I grew up in the Netherlands, and in a town towards the east. And growing up, I was really like brought up in a very good way when it comes to religion, and I really love my religion as well. But what happened to me is, we would go to these places where my mum and I would say, hey, look, Rehan, you can go pick out a book. And I would just pick out a book about any topic that I like about the religion. And that book on the way back, the trip, which was around maybe 30 minutes to an hour, I would have already finished the book. And I would say, Mom, could we go back get another one? I would just read out those books very quickly because I was just like a sponge. Like I just love the knowledge, and I would absorb it so much. But for me, my religion, it's building, talking about the foundation that we spoke about. Like I've really had what I believe is my religion. Like if anyone would come up to me and would ask a diverse questions about different sides of the religion, I'll be able to answer and direct them about it because I really did my own studying on religion. I built my own foundation for why I believe in the religion as well. And I think a lot of the mistakes that individuals make, and people, whether you're Christian, Jewish, or you're Muslim, or you're Buddhist, or you're Hindu, is just because you grew up in the religion doesn't mean that you actually are of that religion. And what I mean by that is you are responsible as an individual to do your own search. Don't just accept whatever your family tells you. Take on the good stuff, but also go out and do your own research. Because thinking about that, if someone comes tomorrow and tells you this and that about your religion, and you don't know anything about it because you haven't studied yourself, you don't have a strong foundation. You don't know how to respond to it. So that's one thing that I really build a foundation as, and especially in business as well. When I started becoming an entrepreneur, then there was this belief, and it's a big belief, which I really want to address when it comes to religion. I think this is really more present in Christianity and Islam, less in in Judaism, is the whole aspect with with money, the whole aspect with money, that money is it's not good to become rich, and what are you going to do with all this money, all of these paradigms and these beliefs. And it's a lot of different things, but what I really want to address is that for a long time I believed in those things until I had to change it. And when I went and really had to change it because of my business, I was like, hey, look, I'm really strong with my belief, Islam, and I really love business, so I need to find a way to make sure that they can both are congruent. Not that I'm becoming a billionaire and it's against my religion, right? So I really had to do my own research, and it was funny because I really found out that those beliefs that we had were all because of the system, of the matrix that put it together. It had nothing to do with the religion. It was actually more culture and being raised up in an environment where jobs are being promoted as well. But at the same time, my family is also open-minded. So what I really understood, and when I really delved into my religion, I found out, and actually have a quote of it as well, which I found the other day, like a couple of weeks ago, is that wealth is promoted in our religion. We have actually the responsibility of becoming wealthy, because really think about it. If I want to be able to build schools, and I had a specific number for how many schools I want to build, then let's be honest, I need money. If I want to help people and I want to be able to feed the poor and build mosques and build schools, then what do I need? I need money. I need money. So it's actually one, we have lots of examples in the religion where we had a lot of wealthy individuals who, and there's nothing wrong with being wealthy. It's about how you spend the wealth, or how you invest the wealth. Because really what it is for us, we believe that when it comes to wealth, everything you give is never lost. Everything you give, you will get something in it, whether it's not in this life or in the afterlife. So how you spend it, how you invest it is so important. And wealth is also something that's very important in the religion, and that I really had to change myself as well with, because I had a lot of individuals who started approaching me, and they had more of the if it's A then it's not B, if it's B then it's not A mindset, with like just paying me compliments of how I was able to, how I'm so religious, I'm strong with my belief, but also have the entrepreneurial aspect. And I really that's really something that's very important to me, and I keep very close to me, because for me, what I want to do with my Muslim brothers and sisters is I want to make them leaders, and I want them to become financially free. Because I saw the story on Instagram the other day. I forgot who it was, but it's I think it was I forgot his name. But what he said is, he said, once you have money, the most amazing thing about having money is you stop caring and thinking about it. And that's the main thing. Like, you just want to become financially free so you can get that out of your way. So you don't have to keep thinking about money, and it's not a problem to you anymore. Because imagine all the freedom you can have when money is not even, an issue anymore. You have time freedom, you have financial freedom, you have location freedom. And that's when you're really able to help people out. Because I mean, how are you going to help someone else? How are you going to fill someone else's plate when your own plate is not even filled, when you don't even have enough food for yourself? So that's really one big vision I have. I want to help 1,000 individuals, 1,000 young individuals, and Muslims as well, and Muslim brothers, and young individuals become 6 and 7 figure earners, whether it's here in London or all around the world, because that's what we need the most at the moment, to keep our communities together, and keep our, we call it our ummah, keep our ummah meaning our community together. Is we need more leaders, and the way you really build leaders is by helping them become free from themselves and from their mind. So I'm very grateful, and I keep a very strong term in religion, and everything that I'm doing now, and that I've planned out, I've planned it in a way to where I will reap the most rewards in this life and the afterlife. And for me, it's really a vision of doing the same thing and helping other individuals. Especially now I'm working with some individuals at university as well, helping them become free from their own mindsets, really. you know
That's incredible. If there's one thing from the religion that has resonated with you most, what would that be?
Do you mean like in terms of business or in general?
In terms of business, or just the whether it's a certain practice within the religion, or
The main thing, because
resonated with you
our
the
holy
most and
book.
just helped you along your journey.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. So the main thing for me, with understanding, because the main thing was being able to being able to have both of them, contemplate them, or being able to, have my religion and my business at the same time, was understanding that the book, our holy book, is called the Quran. With the Quran, that our religion, Islam, is not a religion. Islam is not a religion. Islam really is a lifestyle, and that helped me in my business as well. Because I was like, if I have more wealth, I can be I'm in a position where I can actually, practice my religion, practice the lifestyle of my religion and of our book in a much better way. So that's really what's helped me as well. And how am I able to be like, okay, look, it's actually, these are not two separate things, because we live in the West, where religion and the state is divided. For me, it was like, hey, look, actually, what I do in my business is exactly what I have for my aim, what my religion teaches me to do. So yeah, that's really the main thing that really sets me apart from any other ways of thinking, is that it's a lifestyle. It's not religion. It's a lifestyle.
I love that because you can within that, even though most people would regard it as like a religion, you can you make it like you just said, it is a lifestyle, and you connect it to everything. But I think ultimately, whether it's people are Christian or Catholic or Jewish or whatever it is, I feel like that's like the only way to go, is to connect it to everything in your life, because then you can prosper in all of the different areas, and you're not just elevating your spiritual faith, but then you're, I don't know, let's say you have no money at all, so that you're still suffering, you can't afford to eat enough, or shelter, your kids enough, or whatever it is. So balancing everything out and elevating on all the different aspects, because I mean that goes along with everything we said before, elevating the different aspects of your life, because each of those aspects, the money, relationships, the spiritual aspects, all of those are one aspect, right? If you have one but none of the others, everything's going to be shit. But if you can balance out one, and maybe some of them are going to be higher than others, right? But if you're always elevating each one of those things, then you can't get to a place that is not good and not healthy, in my opinion.
Right, right, exactly. And it just comes back to the idea that money is supposed to make your life easier. Religion is supposed to make your life easier. That's really, the reason why they are here, is to make things easier, not to make things harder on yourself and others. And that's really one thing that we are taught in our life. Hey, look, God says it, that, hey, look, the religion that we have here, this is supposed to make your life easier. And we have a belief, we actually have a verse in our Quran that says that God does not put any more hardship upon the servant than he can take. So it's the idea of, whatever what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So actually, a lot of the mindset in my religion has helped me a lot with my business. Coming back to planting the seeds, and saying, hey, look, God says, put your trust in me. Put your trust in me, and everything will be sorted out. Everything will be fine. So in the same way, it's coming back to the idea of having this individual that's taking, this entity, this God that's taking care of all your problems, that's looking out for you, that has your back. And it makes it easier because you understand, hey, look, if I just do my best, if I do what I can do, God will take care of the rest. And the same way, coming back to the idea of planting seeds, that the only thing we can do is we can plant the seed. What can we do? We can plant the seed. We can, feed it with water. We can look after it. But the actual growing happens under the ground. We can't really control if it's going to grow or not. We can just continue feeding it. And the roots that are built under the ground, we don't see it, but it's still happening. And how do we know it's happening? because we start seeing the plant sprout at the top. So it's very the same idea, and really personal development, the religion, everything. It's just made, and money as well become financially free. It's supposed to make your life easier. And if you really adopt that mindset, then you start seeing that, hey, look, actually, we need to have fun at the same time. We need to work and enjoy the journey as well. So that's really what it is. And one main thing is when it comes to personal development, and that's the main thing that I'm seeing at the moment. When I say planting seeds, I mean the work. Doing the work. God gives you the tree, it doesn't give you the chair. And in the same way, it's how can we, the thing that we are taught from the system is that our job's at work. That's probably the biggest misconception, and I'm changing my language now, is that's not work. Because with work you can always do more. With work there's always an endless amount of things that you can do. With a job there's only a limit, because you only have a 9 to 5. You only have, how many hours is that? 8 hours of you doing work. There's not more. If you work harder in your job, you're not earning more income.
Right.
It's up till the employer, if he or she wants to give you more income. So there's a cap on how much you can earn. With business, there is a bigger responsibility, but what you have to understand is with everything there's a price. So you want to earn more income, then how can I make it easier for you? If you come in with a job mindset, it's going to become difficult for you. So the whole reason why personal development exists is to help you change your paradigm of success, help you change your perspective, so when you do the work, it's easier to do. It's easy to do. Because a lot of individuals, they'll get into personal development, start studying it. And obviously, I had a time in my life where I had to study personal development to change that paradigm. But then comes a time when you're like law of attraction. A lot of people are into law of attraction. But attraction, there's two words in attraction: atch and action. So even in attraction, it tells you what to do. You need to get on the right frequency, have the right mindset, but you need to act. And that's the main part that a lot of individuals forget, is the action, the working. And that's the main part, because think about it. There are individuals out there that have never picked up a Robert Kiyosaki book, a Think and Grow Rich book, anything, but they have millions and billions. They have millions and billions. So what really is it? What does it take for us to become successful? Is the action, and it's the work.
Dude, 100%. Ray, I really appreciate you coming on today.
For sure, man. It was a pleasure talking. I know we can continue talking for the rest of the day, but I do have to hop on some calls now as well. And thank you very much, Bradley. Appreciate you for letting me on. And yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I know your Instagram is plugged right here. Where else can people check you out if they want to?
Yeah, I mean, definitely give me a follow. Reach out to me if you want to talk to me on Instagram. And look, we are actually launching of some things. I didn't really speak much about it. I know Bradley's, part of our platform as well. We have some platforms for our business and travel and trade, and in money education as well. So look, if you want to give me a follow, reach out to me. Feel free to do that on my Instagram, and let's connect. And if you're in London local, let's meet up as well. And yeah, apart from that, appreciate it. Thank you very much. And yeah, amazing.
All right, awesome. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Bye bye.